So this is kind of an impromptu talk, so a lot of people may not know really what it's about. So this is pretty much based on open source intelligence gathering, and not just kind of randomly stalking individual people. It's more of in support of red team operations. So I've noticed a lot of companies nowadays are, advertising, oh, we do red team, we'll pop shells and just own your company left and right, which is cool and it's fun, but oftentimes actually narrowing down the scope of what like a red team operation involves tends to be the most difficult bit, because a lot of it tends to be black box. Oftentimes companies don't even know what they want in regards to a red team operation. So one of the things that really gave me inspiration in this talk is when I kind of started with NCC Group, I asked my manager, how can I contribute the most value? So I really like red teaming. I really suck at it, but I want to get better. And what's the best way I can contribute to be around people that are a lot better than me? So he goes, pretty much this is it. So I kind of went headfirst into it, and I'll just kind of elaborate from here. So it's not stalking, it's investigating. Right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna run down, I guess, just the main core elements of this. So if anybody's familiar with open source intelligence gathering, a lot of it you can see on like DEF CON talks or whatever, where they talk about, oh, we're gonna find somebody, we're gonna find like his house blueprints, we're gonna find his wife, we're gonna find his kindergarten grades. All that's really fun and cool, but this is gonna be very much to support a successful red team operation. And we're gonna do that based on the presumption that our target is going to be medium to large size, and I'll elaborate on that in a bit. I'm going to go over useful tools, apps, just kind of everything, all the dirty tricks of the trade to make it easy, fast, efficient, pretty much automating this, and then just utterly destroying whoever our target is. And I'm going to do that by, we're going to do a live together, actually. I'm going to pick any kind of random company name, and I'm going to show you what we can find out about them in a very short amount of time. So yeah, I have zero artistic talent. So these slides are going to look really busted. Cool. So I've already covered the top bit. Can't we just make it rain shells? The main thing about this is it is passive, right? I'm sure everybody's familiar with authorization forms, Computer Misuse Act, blah, 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 blah. Everything that we do is going to be entirely legal, right? Because auth form, we don't need your auth form, right? We can do this whenever we want, okay? This is really fun to do just on your own time, just to learn kind of a lot of what companies leave exposed. Oftentimes, companies will have stuff that you can just walk onto server access that they didn't even know they had. I mean, it's shocking sometimes what you can find online, even through something simple like Google Dorking. Like I found my personal bank server exposed. I'm not going to tell you who they are, jerks. But yeah, it's just insane. So the main things that we're looking for, you can see right here, phishing, vishing. This will align very much with a full kind of cyber red team engagement. So you're looking for names, emails, job titles, etc. Login pages is huge because we're looking to clone some pages and to have a really successful phishing campaign, because that's pretty much a guaranteed way in on a lot of companies. Red team, the cybers bit. So a lot of this stuff, like we need to know what kind of WAFs they're using, what email filtering, right? If they've got Mimecast, then we know how to bypass that to get like links through or whatever else. So profiling this is incredibly important. So one thing that I will do quite often is when I'm doing this and I'm profiling everything that a company has, I will actively put everything through Burp Suite. So especially their online presence. It's kind of amusing what Burp Suite will pick up sometimes, because I'm sure we're all aware of all the lovely false positives that Burp Suite likes to give. However, what it really is cool on doing is identifying local file inclusion, like full path disclosure, email addresses, and a lot of times like hidden pages. So like, if you are, depending how loud you want to be, if you passively or like one thread spider something, and it picks up like some crazy back-end page that they never knew they had existed, then a web app could potentially be a way in, but that's kind of disgusting. So other things that we can think of, metadata ripping. I mean, this is I've never ever, I've been on a lot of red team engagements, I've never seen a company properly filter their metadata from documents, ever. Every single time, I will find usernames, I'll find internal domains, I'll find internal IPs, I'll find passwords, I'll find all this just from ripping documents from a company's website. So one of my favorite things to do is, if I just don't care about being caught or that's not really part of the scope, is I can pretty much Reconnaissance as a cool module, or you can even dork for it manually, identify every single file that they've got hosted, like Word documents, PDFs, etc. And then what you can do is take that, dump it into a text file, wget-i file name, and just watch your VM blow up because you've just downloaded 300 PDFs in about 5 minutes. And I'm pretty sure their SOC is probably having a heart attack. But it's really fun to do. They also really juicy stuff like RDP, Citrix, VPN, SharePoints, right? Is port 3389 open? Things like that, okay? These are all kind of big key things that we're looking for as we go along. So, domain and host hunting, right? This is kind of the meaty bit of what we're doing for the red team engagement, okay? So, just to clarify, we're not doing spear phishing or any kind of thing like that right now, okay? This is pretty much the big juicy bits to support a red team operation, okay? So, Recon NG, I love it. Okay, I love it, love it, love it. It has a very Metasploit feel, but it will make you rage at times because a lot of it just doesn't make sense. So one of the most awesome things that we're looking for, DNS. DNS gives us just everything. DNS and dorking, I would say, are probably the two biggest ways to profile a company, right? And what we will constantly remember and iterate to ourselves to do is to make everything in a nice kind of list, CSV, text file, whatever, okay? Because we will be using that, okay? We will be using that and feeding that into Recon NG, okay? We will be using that and feeding that into whatever, like phishing platforms that you use, anything, right? But keeping a log of this and keeping it organized is really, really important. I'll go into parsing a bit later, okay? But you will be receiving a ton of data, okay? Especially when you go into a big organization, right? I cheekily ran some discovery stuff on Microsoft last night, and about 35,000 hosts later, I kind of thought, okay, I need to stop, because it's blowing up my VM with plain text. It's just insane what some companies actually have exposed and what you can find. Login pages, okay? This is really, really big. Phishing isn't always the funnest thing to do. I mean, you're not like, popping cool exploits or anything like that, but good phishing will always be a way in, okay? Every single red team engagement I've had, we've gotten a shell with this. I mean, you can do like a Cobalt Strike web drive-by, you can do whatever kind of like the recent kind of PowerPoint mouse over exploit that got released. Anything like that is a really, really awesome, cool way to get access. However, login pages will always kind of be the most important and stressed bit, okay? We want them to go in and enter their creds, right? We want them to think, okay, I'm just logging into Outlook, right? But really they're giving us their credentials. Now, when you've got a massive business, okay? Let's use, hypothetically, Microsoft, for example, okay? How do you then go through 30,000 hosts and then find login pages, okay? Or other like web applications that may be vulnerable or really good, right? So like dev portals or whatever else that they use. Eyewitness is a really cool tool. It will automate all of it for you, okay? So I'll go into how I use this specifically, but right here you can see a nice juicy report, okay? So I ran this. I have a friend that works here. I got the okay to do this. but I just kind of pointed Recon-ng at the FCO and just ran like a discovery on the domains and subdomains. And then once it's done with that, then it spits you out this really nice report, okay? Because everybody at the end of this, I assume, will be writing a report, right? So you need to keep in mind, we need report fodder, even for like open source intelligence gathering. A lot of this is really important, and we don't know what the client will eventually ask us, like either at the beginning of the engagement, in the middle, or at the end. But yeah, this is really, really nice. So I highly recommend, if you're going to use this on a large scale or a medium scale, Eyewitness is amazing. Alternatively, you can hold control and click, 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 click every single host, right? Which is not fun to do. People hunting. This is also, I'd say, probably one of the most important things, right? We need email addresses of people to fish. If a company goes to you and they say, yo, you're supposed to be some elite hackers, you can find the people yourself, right? And you're like, oh, okay, you jerk. Fine. So there's a couple things that we can do. A few publicly available things that are really cool. Email Hunter, hunter.io has a free API, and you can just rip through it. I just ran this last night, and I probably had 600 emails for organization in probably like 20 seconds. Really, really good. Email format. This is a web application that is kind of there to tell you the format of a company's emails, okay? But it also kind of doubles as a really good kind of email hunter. Both of these return often very unique results. So it's really good. And another one that I found going through the code for Discover by Lee Baird, I think, is on GitHub. However, it points you towards this thing called Salesforce. Hey, I'm sure everybody's familiar with Salesforce to some degree. You can then go create a free account with Salesforce, okay? And you can search a company or you can search for people, okay? When you search for a company, okay, you can get a whole ton of really juicy results, okay? You get full names, you get their job titles, you get when they joined, right? A lot of this is publicly submitted information, but it's extremely accurate, okay, from what I've seen anyways. So you can double check to make sure these are valid, and I'll show you what we can do with this in a second. Because if we have full names, we have emails, okay? And if we have emails, we have full names, blah, 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 vice versa, okay? Also, job titles. We want to avoid IT security. We want to avoid SOCs, right? We want to avoid all that stuff. We want to identify the people in HR, marketing, et cetera, who may not be technically fluent, okay? So this is a really cool way. Now, you might be asking, how do I export this and use this? I've gotten really good at a skill I like to call ghetto parsing. And what that is when you get data in this atrocious format and you try to purchase this or export this, it's going to charge you a huge amount of money. It's going to try to in the format that they want. You can, alternatively, select all of it and right-click in Microsoft Excel and paste as plain text, and that may just be a perfect format for you to use. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. Harvester, if you've ever used the Harvester, it's built in Kali. Really good application. However, you will capture yourself and likely your company. What I like to do typically is VPN through one of our other offices. And so some locations within NCC might find themselves surprisingly Google captured for an hour, but it's better than our own office. Applications, some of the really cool ones. This I wasn't aware of until recently. The OSINT framework is really good. Okay, it has a huge repository of really cool stuff to go stalk people and companies. However, it's got so much, it gets a bit murky. I will try to make all this publicly available as well, including like a tool list. So if you guys are curious, you want to go grab some stuff, be my guest, okay? So I will try to make everything publicly posted, but by all means, take pictures, do whatever. A really cool, juicy trick that I find that surprises a lot of people is IP history can often bypass Cloudflare or whatever, right? If a company's trying to hide behind Cloudflare, okay, but you have their actual domain name, if you just take that and you plug that into a site like vdns.info in the IP history, oftentimes they will have deployed their site before deploying Cloudflare, and you'll get their real IP straight away. So couple second kind of bypass of Cloudflare. So connect.data. Company's house. This is fantastic just for more people stalking. This looks up every kind of company within like the UK, their presidents, who the directors are, et cetera. This tells you their yearly income. So you can tell if they're kind of ghetto busted or if they're actually like a really profitable company. MX Toolbox, et cetera, Spokio for more people hunting, but that's fine. I'm not gonna go into that right now. Tools, these are probably the main tools that I'll use. ReconNG, additional ReconNG modules, these are really juicy, and I highly recommend that you guys go find this. This actually has modules to automate email hunter and email format and like a lot of this other web application-based stuff, but this will do it and keep it nice and organized in your database that I'll show you in just a second. Eyewitness again, Harvester. API keys are going to be the bread and butter of ReconNG. This is pretty much the main framework that I use for everything. Get your API keys, okay? If you don't want to give me real info, just use Gorilla Mail or something like that. Oftentimes, the domain, I think Pokemail, isn't flagged. So they think it's like Pokemon fan site or something, but it works really well. But yeah, highly recommend you spend maybe 15 minutes, sign up for these, okay? They will make your reconnaissance exponentially more powerful, okay? Parsing, yes, we do have to parse all that information at the end. grepfoo, sed wizardry, Python scripting. Excel, when we had that Salesforce bit, and we right-click and we paste that as plain text, okay? If you have a first name, last name, this is a really easy way to just make full emails with it, okay? Just Excel concatenate, dead easy, okay? Don't worry about Linux foo and all that stuff. Excel will do it. And yes, parsing is like crawling naked to a field of broken glass, but we have to do it, okay? Cool, pass to the red team and make it rain shells. Now, live demo. I'm gonna need a company name from somebody, any company name, and medium to large size. Don't be shy. Who? Rapid7. Yeah, let's do it. All right. I'll show you how easy it is. So how much time do we have left? 25 minutes? All right, own them in like 25 minutes, okay? So, back, Workspaces, add Rapid7, okay? Beautiful, okay? So now we're making our own workspace. Being organized is really important, right? I hate it, everybody hates it, but just making a new workspace is really important. So if I go Workspaces list, right, you can see all the other ones that I've done and just kind of poked around in, right? Atlassian, Kaspersky, FCO, Amazon, Microsoft, right? There's a lot of data in here. Take snapshots as well, because some of the models that I've imported have utterly busted my VM sometimes, and just restoring a snapshot is a lot easier. So add domains. Is it rapid7.com? Yeah? Cool. So, Hacker Target, okay? This is a really cool service, right? These guys have it's awesome, right? They also own the website DNS Dumpster, but they have seriously spot on like a free API, and you'll see in a second. Hello, Rapid7. So from here, already, that's just a single module. And all that does is just kind of like subdomain lookups, right? But you can see, look at all this, right? If you ever look at a company's like subdomains and whatnot, I mean, and you can typically see what services they have on the back end. For example, file transfer, right? So immediately we've got already kind of potential things to go look at, okay? Remember, we're not touching Rapid7. We're looking around them. It's a big difference, okay? So we're going to use other really cool things. I didn't even know that this was written by another NTC guy, but apparently this module is. So it's certificate transparency. Okay. So looking up. Oh, okay. Right. So already, that one module we've already got 1,009 total hosts. Some of these look duplicated, but they will be different IPs once we look into it. So yeah, as we can see as we go through now, Metasploit.help.rev7. Okay. So that's just 2 modules that we have, okay? Now, here's an example of everything that we have at our disposal. So one of the things I'm doing right now, as I mentioned beforehand, is domains and hosts lookups, right? That's kind of the main bread and butter that I'm looking for right now. So I want to have a very rough understanding of their external presence, right? So remember, I'm going at this from a red team perspective. I want to see what is potentially exploitable. I want to find their login pages, okay? I'm going to find their employees because I want to know who to fish, okay? Anything that's potentially juicy, you know, like do they have like what anonymous FTP or just silly stuff like that that you'd be shocked at what companies have exposed. So let's see, what's another favorite of mine? I get caught up in my own tabbing. Okay, and so we're just doing reverse DNS lookup. So we can already see right there CloudFront, okay, CloudFront, Cloudflare. So we can see they have a lot of EC2 presences, okay? Just going through Amazon's. So all these are just different Amazon data centers. God knows where, right? Everyone uses EC2s nowadays. So already, we have 256 unique hosts, okay? And you may be wondering, oh, I don't know these IPs. Well, it has a really nice option to resolve the IP addresses, okay? So, and it's just gonna crawl through. So right now, I can pretty much say, oh, AutoDiscover, that's nice. AutoDiscover is a nice little juicy trick, okay? If you wanna find somebody's Outlook login, right, autodiscover.companyname.com is a really lovely way to get kindly redirected straight to their Outlook login page. So I'm just gonna keep going through. Tor presence. Anybody from Rapid7 here? Sorry. Okay, so that's an additional 49 hosts, okay? So inside VM, I think they're demoing that outside. So yeah, so already, oh, Exchange, so we've got Exchange server. Anybody familiar with Ruler? They got released recently. Right, so already we've got loads of hosts, and it has a lovely way of taking the host that it finds and then dumping it into domain stable. So one thing you'll learn to hate about Recon-ng is it has a very lovely kind of like my standard SQL database profile. But as you can see, a lot of it is kind of a bit redundant. So if you find hosts, for example, it will not automatically populate domains. So, which can be a little infuriating, but however, it's a nice difference because you'll have IPs and different host names. Right, so, should we look up some people? Let's see if we can find someone that's out there right now. Right, companies, contacts, email, hunter, okay? Show info, so very much like Metasploit, okay, and this gives you a nice description of it. So this is leveraging the free API. It's actually a lovely guy that runs the service. It's got really good customer service and support. So if you guys ever want to use this a lot, I highly recommend the paid version. So we'll just run that real quick. Okay, so we've already got 134 employees. So that's also 137 phishing targets. Okay, 137 phishing targets on potentially all those login pages that we just found. Okay, so while I do this, I'm going to go ahead and crack off Eyewitness, and we're going to see what login pages we can find to theirs. Okay, to me. And we'll just look for the web presence. This right here, this is just going to look for 80 and 443. We can specify this to look for RDP, VNC, et cetera, okay? And I'm sure if you're on a specific engagement, you can just go fiddle around with the code and add whatever kind of port you're looking for. Okay, but we're going to crack that off, and that is going to automate the entire process. It might take a bit, because 231 hosts is a lot to kind of go in and screenshot. But we're going to just let that run in the background while we hunt for more employees. You see what I mean by unique results. Okay, so now we've got, I think, over 200. 174, okay, fair enough. I'm going to show you another really cool, creepy module that I really like in this, okay? This is where it gets a bit kind of stalkery, well, investigaty. I always forget what it says. There we go. Full Contact. Full Contact is a lovely service, and it gives you about 1,000 free queries with its API. So another good usage for Gorilla Mail and other temporary emails. So just sign up as like a Pokemon fan and get your API. So you've got 1,000 queries. And this is just going to run based off the emails and the contacts that we currently have, okay? And you'll see why it's creepy in just a second. Wait for a person to come by. Any day, come on. Oh no, Courtney didn't hit. I really hope it's not an underscore there. It is. Sneaky, that's okay. So anyways, you see it's still returning quite a bit. Okay, I should bear in mind what this has picked up beforehand, okay? I had to explain how I found an IT manager's Pornhub account. And this was just through sheer automation, okay? This is also why you shouldn't reuse usernames, okay? It's almost as bad as passwords, I'd say, because it's really, really easy to do reverse lookups across it, okay? So if I have somebody's username, like I will find everything else where they are on the internet. So you can see it's still going as well. That's going to keep ripping through. That's going for a bit. Right. Is there any questions so far while these kind of crack off?
That plugin that you just ran says search within the last 24 hours of OS.com.
Yeah.
Does this mean that somebody else already used that plugin on that address?
Yes.
API says,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I think also, so I've had it run. I think that service is used a lot, okay? I see it referenced a ton when it comes to just like large-scale marketing data, everything else. So I'm sure that loads of stuff is just pounding this. It's really never been that big of an issue. So you'll see a lot of the stuff it uses like clout, like what? Like maybe I'm just not very social media like adept or anything, but I have no idea what the hell clout is. Okay, so I mean, and you'll see some other kind of like slightly archaic things that it searches for on here. However, one of the big things it is hitting is Google+, LinkedIn, Twitter, okay? Those are the big ones. Like I've been on phishing and vishing campaigns where I've pretty much been speaking to the person like while I'm looking at their LinkedIn that I just found. And it's just so obscenely easy to leverage just basic information about somebody to establish that chain of trust. And so this is really, really useful as well. Like if you're confused about, I don't know, maybe they've shifted jobs or you are spear phishing or et cetera, right? This is where this really comes in handy, okay? And remember, I found their full names, their social media profiles, their emails, right? And this is, how long has it been? Like maybe 10 minutes? 15 minutes, okay? And the lovely people outside here, you know? I kind of don't want to ask them, but so. This is where explaining yourself when you're doing this it can be difficult at times. However, when it comes to just actual reporting, so I'll show you a report that I had just in case this blew up on me. And this is the FCO. This is a full report. And you can see as I browse through here, it's gone through and it's automatically screenshotted. So if I want to like clone a website or something, I can look for something that isn't like insane with like loads of different dynamic crap on it, right? So if it looks incredibly problematic to try to clone a website, then you can browse to and maybe look for something more simple. For example, right here. Also, you get lovely kind of, you get a nice IP address. It kind of it tells you kind of what it's based on. And we'll just say, boom, okay, we've got an Outlook page for the FCO. Okay, so if I was an attacker, guaranteed I would try to phish them with this page, right? And it would work too, because I mean, who expects to see a pink like Outlook login page, right? That's fairly unique, I would say. And so immediately, if you have something that's quite distinct and unique, that they may not think people would find, like for example, that was found by using AutoDiscover, right? And if we just click that, and that's just trying to result, boom, see, it just redirects us straight to it, okay? So you can see how finding just like, and I'd say most companies leave this here, like AutoDiscover, okay? And so this is a really, really awesome, juicy, lovely way to just get an instant phishing page that works most times, right? Because every company will have this, I'd say, unless like it's hidden behind like a VPN or something. Right. Oh, and Office 365, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Outlook.com. Yeah?
When you build a phishing page, you have to redirect the users somewhere
Yep.
after they
Yeah. Typically, we redirect them straight to the actual login page.
Okay, so you say then
Yeah. So I mean, like if you're doing like a standard phishing campaign, oftentimes clients will ask for like a phishing awareness campaign, where it redirects them to like, okay, oh, I've gotten phished, now I have to sit through this really boring video, right? Or if it's a proper red team engagement, then it will just be a redirect back to like the proper site. So it'll look like maybe there was just some standard issue, and they're like, oh, the page just reloaded. I have to enter my creds again. And so that works a lot of the times as well. So this is almost done. And I did not expect this to hit that much. Okay. We'll fire it back up. Okay. Okay, so typically what I would also do, moose life. Okay. So typically what you would do is a bit of manual kind of investigation always kind of goes into this also, right? Because most companies will name their subdomains pretty much similar with the service that it offers, okay? So typically speaking with Amazon, I typically try not to piss off Amazon. So I won't go brute forcing any subdomains or anything like that. However, what I will do is then start looking through here and looking for any kind of juicy like subdomains that kind of give me, this will tell me a lot about their services and their technology already, and that's just from looking at the names of it, okay? Oh, perfect. Okay, yes, I would like to open the report now, okay? So welcome to Rapid7's web presence. And here's where we go down. So, okay, we've got a bog standard IS installation. I wonder what kind of default pages are on there. Project Sonar, interesting. Don't know what that is. App Spider, that looks like a really good phishing page, right? Bog standard login, username and password. Email and password. R2D2. These are what the droids are looking for. I like that. And we got on like KiteWorks. Oh, secure file transfer. That's potentially really interesting. So you can see where you can, immediately, it's been less than 20 minutes, okay? And, okay, I've already got version number. Oh, okay, that's Amazon, never mind. So you can see as like going down, it can get pretty intrusive in a company, and this is all just public stuff, right? This is pretty much just dorking around the internet. Oh, okay, that's nice. We got stack traces just on screenshots. Okay, let's not look at that too much now. I don't want to anger the Rapid7 guys out there. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that. But you can see, just doing passive reconnaissance in 20 minutes, right, how horribly intrusive this can get. And that's against a security company, right? So imagine what you could find on a company that's like Humpty Hump. We do HR marketing. That's all we do. And we have one security guy named Bob, and he works like Monday to Friday, like 8 to 10 a.m., right? And so that actually happens quite a bit. And so just passive reconnaissance without even touching their infrastructure, okay? We've pretty much got enough information to utterly, like, potentially destroy a company. I'm not really. So, I mean, this is, well, I find this cool anyways, which is why I'm giving the talk. But yeah. How much time? 7 minutes? Okay. That's pretty much it. Questions? Banter? Tell me how bad this sucked. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions at all? Stalking? I really like stalking. Yeah. Yes, that's a good question. Okay, smaller companies, you might be better off manually like poking around, especially with like burp open. I have done that quite a bit. Recon-ng tends to be a bit overkill with companies with like 4 subdomains or something like that. But it's good to have those active API keys because you never know. I mean, sometimes I've seen like a tiny company that just ended up just blowing with tons of subdomains. But no, it's a really good question. Like a smaller company, it can be a big giant waste of time, and you're better off doing a lot of this manually. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, who was next? Yeah. It's a good question. I had originally a slide called Bleep Your API. And that was specifically targeted because I'm really bitter about LinkedIn's API. They're jerks. And you can only really get a juicy version of their API if you are a really big business partner. Web crawling is frowned upon. However, there's some modules out there that have it well. We kind of use an internal one right now to do it efficiently. But I'll highly recommend getting into web crawling, especially for like custom stuff. There's a lot of really good resources out there, and this is pretty much what a lot of this is. So it's doing DNS lookups and like web crawling, right? And you're just grabbing certain information you need from a web page and just dumping it into an easily readable and parsable format. So yeah, that's a good question because LinkedIn is really like the holy grail. And I have manually gone through LinkedIn raging, right? Getting like employees and their job titles because a module wouldn't work. But yeah, what's that? Any other questions? Yeah.
What about Facebook Graph? Is that still a thing?
I did look into that. I haven't managed to use that efficiently yet. I would love to because, I mean, I've owned a few companies because, like, employees, they have pictures of, like, their computers. And, like, I mean, it's just insane what people still post on Facebook. So they're very stringent on their API usage as well. But that's something that I need to keep looking at. So by all means, if anybody knows something, please share it. Because that would be another kind of holy grail type thing, is being able to really just rip through and exploit Facebook. Recon-ng used to have one a couple years ago, but then Facebook got wise and gave us a ban hammer. Yeah. Yeah, it's an option. It can be very loud, and it's gray area when it comes to auth form, no auth form. So it's a really good way if a company just wants like an OSINT job, then yeah, by all means go buck wild, right? Throw the biggest, giantest word list you have at it, like, and just go crazy on their subdomains. However, some companies may try to get fresh with you. Like if you really do like 1 million lookups on their subdomains, they're like, wait, what the hell are you doing? We want you to be quiet and not get caught, you know, so. Oh, another quick thing I want to show you guys before I go. Sorry, question? No? One other really good thing is why I love Hacker Target. Everybody's familiar with dirbuster. Dirb, right? It pretty much brute forces pretty much like page links. This has a pretty much a dirbuster without dirbustering, is what I like to call it. So as you can see here, this is a really nice, lovely way to pretty much have it. You can see already, so PDF. So already, so one of the things I really love to do here, which gets me into trouble sometimes, is if you look, oh, this is shit resolution. Sorry, people. So for example, here it says rapid, can you guys read that? No, it says /global assets /PDFs/PDF. Right? So one of the things I'll immediately do if I see something juicy like that says like it's on the disallow list, right, from its robots or whatever, is I'll go to like these things that looks like they'll have lots of files, and loads of websites and domains will have this to where it'll just list everything. And this is kind of a really cheeky, fun way to find like stuff that they really don't want you to find online. So hidden links. Here's a really good one. So hidden links. It doesn't information at Rapid7. Oh, SC Magazine. Right. So typically from here, I would then go. I'll have one more cheeky poke. I'll just see if this hits, if it goes through or not. So lots of times you'll see something like this. It'll be like company/file/download/file name, right? And then if you go to it and it's like, okay, they're smart. All right. Okay, but a lot of times this would result in pretty much listing like all the files that they have available, right? Which we can find anyways with Google dorking, but yeah. So yeah, any other last big questions? No? Cool, thanks for coming.